Do you have bad habits as an actor? Are you aware of those habits that you have? How can you break those habits so that you can have a long and sustained and vital acting career? In this video, I'll show you just those habits you might be having that you're unaware of, and it's time to break them. Let's get started. There are three major vocal habits of actors that are detrimental. The first major hurdle for an actor to get over is not reading or remembering or reciting the words as written. The words are given to you by the author in a certain way with a certain punctuation for a reason. It talks about the character, it gives information for the storytelling, it defines who you are, it sets up the next character, it's specific. If it's for a comedy, there's a certain musicality, there's a certain rhythm. You could close your eyes and you could hear the rhythm. It's specific. So it's very important you say the words as written. Remember the words as written. Listen, the other day I was coaching on a comedy, and even adding a simple the or a, changed the timing. Was it massive? Like, oh my gosh, you totally blew it. No, but it's noticeable. There's something that kind of upsets the timing. And think about this. The other day I was reading an article by a dancer friend of mine. He was being interviewed about his long career as a dancer. He still does many commercials as a dancer. He gets lots of work. He's worked with all kinds of pros in his many decades of performing. And he talked about how dancers really are this closest of all performers because they have to work together so intricately. I mean, the same would be considered for a musician who has to work in an orchestra together. But as dancers, physically, you have to be doing the exact same things at the same time. You can't be kind of breaking out and sort of doing things, or you're going to be calling attention to yourselves. You're going to be kind of ruining the line of the dance. Use a dancer's discipline when it comes to acting. It's very interesting in terms of when I work with people who are actors and have come from other professions. It's interesting to see the kind of discipline that they bring from that other discipline to their acting. So in other words, I've worked with dancers. With them, the problem generally is that their voices aren't being used fully, but they're very good about looking at the script as written because they know how important it is to follow what they're given. And in that, you have lots of possibility to expand. So in this, looking at the punctuation, the first thing, besides just saying the words as written, is to pay attention to commas, to periods, to colons, semicolons. What do those mean? Well, the big one is a period means the end of a thought. Doesn't mean you have to pause and wait a long time. It just means that it's the end of a thought. Secondly, a period means that it's a statement. It means that it's some kind of declarative thing. You could have tons of intentions behind it, many intentions. And as an actor, you get to decide what that intention is for you in that moment, organically. But it certainly isn't a question. So if you say a statement as a question, and you say you're late, as opposed to you're late, not only does it throw off your character, because the writer didn't intend you to be asking a question, but it also throws off the next character's response, the next actor's response. So acting is a collaborative art. Yes, you want to make it as an actor. You want to go out there and you want to be the best that you can be and nail that audition. Ultimately, though, it is a collaborative art. It takes a director, a writer. In film and TV, it takes cameramen, sound men, makeup gals, makeup men, whatever. I use men and women interchangeably. It takes all kinds of people to support you. You need to integrate with them. And your job, just like the sound person's job would be, to use the microphone in the right place, to know how to use the soundboard, know how to get that mix on your voice. The same thing is true for the actor. She has to learn her lines as they are. You have to learn these lines as they're written. So statements are statements, questions are questions. Commas are there for a reason. There might be a slight little pause. Again, just notice what the author does with that punctuation so that you're following it. Remember, structure gives you freedom. Just being free all over the place is wonderful. That could be a part of your rehearsal process. But certainly the starting point is the structure of what you're given. So questions are questions and statements are statements. The next point, in looking at the script, not adding any kind of thes or us, noticing that you have these different things that you're going through as the character. Notice when you're watching yourself in playback, or you might get direction from the teacher or from a director. Hopefully this will be at the teaching level because this is where you need to start to change that. Do you have the habit of repetitive vocal patterns so that everything kind of sounds the same? Now you have to be careful because in TV and film work, not in comedy so much, but in drama, a lot of the lines do kind of sound the same. We tend to have, as American speakers, a sort of downward inflection. But if everything you say sounds like that, that means that you're doing something very specific that I want to talk about. And that is, A, you're not using your voice. So it's really important. That's why, even though the voice can be overlooked as an actor, it is so important that you work with your voice. You learn how to use it, especially as an actor. You need to be familiar with it so that it's your friend, that you can use it, that it's flexible. But another thing it's saying is you're not being specific. You don't really have specific intentions or a specific feeling for what the character has gone through, what he or she wants, and how they're going about getting what they want. So that's a very big clue that you're not actually going through your script and finding out specifically what's going on, what you want, what you need, and how you're going about getting that. Because that naturally and organically will change the inflection, change the vocal patterns. But it's very important you look at your speech because I do work with all kinds of actors, people who were born in the US, people who were born in other places. There are certain rhythms that are native to us from wherever we are that are our own rhythm. As an actor, you've got to expand beyond that rhythm because of the kinds of characters you're going to play. Not everybody, certainly not the King of England, speaks the way that you speak. Or certainly not a young woman who was born of privilege and goes to a private school speaks as you do. So to be able to speak in different ways, to use your voice, is key for the actor. So be very careful about line readings, about sounding the same in your script, kind of having a monotone sound. That's a clear indication it's time to look at the intentions and at a deeper level, look at your voice and how you can expand it. So those are three major things. Say the lines as written. Don't add thes and us. Secondly, pay attention to the punctuation. Don't make statements into questions and questions into statements. And finally, make sure that you have a supple voice that you can actually be the actor that the script demands, that the script is inviting you to be, which is supple and in the moment and organic. Learn to use your voice. Hope this helped you. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.